Something is being done to your brain right now. Not by a virus, not by a drug, by the technology in your pocket. Scientists at Harvard, MIT, and Oxford have been studying this for a decade. And what they found is not what any tech company wants you to know. And in the rest of the video, I'm going to show you exactly what artificial intelligence is doing to your brain, whether you use it intentionally or not. Think about the last time you sat down to do something without picking up your phone first. Not to check it, just sat, thought, did nothing. Can you remember when that was? Because most people I talk to, they cannot remember. 23% drop in deep focus ability in adults who use AI tools daily. 47 seconds, average time before an adult worker is distracted by a digital notification. 40% of Gen Z adults report difficulty finishing a thought without searching for it first. These aren't conspiracy statistics. These are peer-reviewed studies published in journals that most people never read because they're not comfortable. Here's what nobody tells you when they sell you an AI assistant. Your brain is not a hard drive. It's not passive storage. Every time you use it, you either strengthen it or you outsource it. And outsourcing feels so good, so effortless, so instant that most people do it without ever deciding to. The question isn't whether AI is changing your brain. The science already answered that. The question is, which direction is it changing and are you in control of it? Now, I want to be clear about something before we go further. This isn't an anti-AI video. I use AI tools every day. You probably do too. This is a video about what's actually happening inside your skull when you do, because once you understand the mechanism, you can use it intentionally instead of being used by it. There's a difference between a tool you control and a tool that controls you. And right now, for most people, the line between those two things is blurring. Here's the neuroscience in 60 seconds. Your brain operates on a principle called neuroplasticity. It rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do. If you repeatedly lift weights, your muscles grow. If you repeatedly solve problems, the neural pathways for problem solving strengthen. The inverse is also true. Pathways you stop using weaken. This is called synaptic pruning. Your brain is ruthlessly efficient. It eliminates what it doesn't need. Now here's the part that's relevant to AI. Every cognitive task you offload to a machine, every calculation, every search, every decision is a task your neural pathways didn't have to handle. Do that 10,000 times over 2 years and the brain takes note. We don't need this pathway anymore. That's not a metaphor. That's synaptic biology. Researchers at Stanford have proposed what they call the cognitive load partnership model. The idea is simple. Not all AI uses the same. The critical variable isn't whether you use AI, it's whether you're cognitively engaged while you do. Using AI to draft a report you then critically edit, high engagement. Your brain is working with the tool. Using AI to answer a question you never tried to think through yourself, low engagement. Your brain is being replaced by the tool. Same technology, completely different neurological outcome. Every interface you use has been engineered to reduce friction. One tap, instant answer, no waiting. Friction in cognitive science is not a bug, it's a feature. The moment of not knowing, of searching, of sitting with a hard question, that's precisely when your prefrontal cortex does its most sophisticated work. When AI removes that friction entirely, it also removes the stimulus that triggers deep cognition. A 2022 study from Carnegie Mellon found that people who used AI search assistants for 8 weeks showed measurably reduced activation in the anterior cingulate cortex during problem-solving tasks compared to a control group. That's the part of your brain responsible for detecting conflict, managing uncertainty, and making decisions under pressure. Think about what that means for the decisions you'll need to make when AI isn't available. There's a concept in cognitive psychology called the extended mind theory, first proposed by philosophers Andy Clark and David Chalmers. The idea is that the mind isn't just what's inside your skull. It extends into the tools you use, your notebook, your GPS, your phone. By that logic, when your tools get smarter, you get smarter, right? Here's the problem. That theory assumed the tools were passive. Notebooks don't rewrite your thoughts. GPS doesn't decide where you want to go. AI tools are not passive. They interpret, prioritize, filter, and complete your thoughts before you finish having them. And here's what neuroscientists have found. When you expect an external system to remember something for you, your hippocampus, the brain's memory consolidation center, encodes it with significantly lower fidelity. You remember less, not because your memory is failing, but because your brain decided someone else was handling it. Memory is how you build judgment. Judgment is how you build a self. When you outsource your memory, you're not just outsourcing information, you're outsourcing the raw material of who you are. Here's where this story turns, because here's what the same researchers found when they studied people who used AI tools in what they called a generative rather than a substitutive mode. Generative use means using AI as a thinking partner, not a thinking replacement. You generate the idea. AI expands it. You critique what comes back. AI responds to your critique. People who used AI this way for 12 weeks showed increased activity in the default mode network, the part of the brain associated with creative thinking, self-reflection, and long-range planning. They weren't getting dumber, they were getting smarter. The difference wasn't the tool, it was the posture. Passive consumption. Brain shrinks its investment. Active engagement, brain expands its capability. So the real question is never, should I use AI? The real question is, when I use it, am I thinking more or thinking less?